Brawley Perez of NJ.com here with my colleagues James Crash to talk a little North 2 Group 5 football. James, I look at this bracket and I'm blown away with some of the top teams here. You got Linden, Piscataway, Elizabeth. What are you seeing out of this group?
You know, I think it's a very interesting group. I think the two most intriguing teams are the teams that I will see on Saturday at 1 p.m. at Gary Keeler Stadium. That's Bridgewater, Raritan, that's Westfield. I think you're going to see the winner of that game might potentially find itself in the state final. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Westfield lost to Linden in overtime. Linden, of course, is the top seed. They're going to play 8th seeded North Hunterdon. Okay. They also beat, now let's, in the event that North Hunterdon pulls an upset, they already beat North Hunterdon. Bridgewater Raritan beat North Hunterdon, and I think matches up very well with Linden potentially if they get past Westfield. So I think that game is the one that strikes me most intrigued. Now, for the big boys you talked about, I think, Linden's going to have a really tough game with North Hunterdon. They beat North Hunterdon 35-21 in the regular season, but that game was tied at 21 going into the fourth quarter.
Wow.
North Hunterdon snapped a 3-game losing streak with a big win over Voorhees in the Milk Can game. They're going to be fired up. They're not going to be scared, nervous. They're going to have confidence going into Linden. Elizabeth against Barringer, Piscataway against Bayonne. I think those two teams are going to kind of, I'm not going to say have an easy game, but they're not going to have any trouble getting to the semifinals. But when we get Elizabeth Piscataway, the history between those two schools, the two great state finals they played in 2011, 2012, absolute classics. In 2011, you Piscataway thwart that late drive to hold on. 2012, P.J. Walker leads Elizabeth on a 98-yard drive in the final minute to win the game. Obviously, I cannot wait, assuming that they take care of business this week for that one. And whoever wins that game is anybody's guess. But we're going to have to make a guess at some point. So who do you think? We'll start with, we'll take this in increments. First, do you think that a Bayonne could potentially threaten Piscataway in any way?
I don't think so. I think Piscataway, I think they'll handle business in the first round, move on to the semifinals. I saw them play last week, or actually I've seen them 2 weeks in a row. Some tough loss, 14-7 to South Brunswick. Bounced back in a big way with a 42-6 victory over Old Bridge. And I got to tell you, sophomore Elijah Barnwell, holy smokes. I almost feel bad for Coach Stan Higgins because his house phone is going to be blown up by college recruiters coming after Barnwell in a couple of years. He's already got a Rutgers offer, but expect that he'll hit double digits, no problem. He had 185 yards, 3 touchdowns. He leads that offense. Elijah Pearson defensively, he's solid. He's also running back as well. Solid team.
All right, so Elizabeth P-Way in the semifinal. I'm going to take Elizabeth. Who are you taking?
I'm taking Piscataway.
Piscataway. I think we both agree. I think Linden will have 2 very tough tests, but I think they'll get to the final. So I've got Elizabeth-Linden final. I think Elizabeth will once again beat Linden. They beat him this past week. They'll do it again. I've got Elizabeth winning the state title.
I've got Piscataway and Linden in the state championship. I'm going to go with Linden in that game. I just got a hunch about Linden. I'm gonna take them to win the title.
It's a loaded bracket. Anything can happen. That's it for North Jersey Section 2 Group 5. Keep it here at NJ.com. We're going to take a look at all 24 state tournament brackets. For Brawley Perez, this is James Cratch.